Hello, everybody. Welcome back at the Future Now Hybrid Bootcamp 2021. What a week. We started with pitch training with Lukáš, then continued with 2 sessions of Startup Clinic when we discussed the challenges of the legal challenges of the investment process with Majo Porvažník from Sparring. And yesterday we went through the process of pursuing your product market fit with Slavo Tuleja from Innovation Studio Cube. And today we will have special opportunity to test your value propositions with the leaders of the regional VCs from the CEE. These office hours, how it's today's format called, will be about your short introductions. You will start with 1 minute, really quick and furious pitch about yourself, about the product and the service. And then the representatives of regional VCs will have time to question your propositions and ask about the details. We will have 3 rounds, each with different group of mentors or judges and different group of startups. I will call you out. You will have your spotlight in here. You will give us the introduction, and then basically judges and mentors can ask you about anything in order to help you improve your chances on the next week's finals. And before we start, I would like to remind you that we are still using the platform at futurenow.2021.org, where you can find all the details about the program, the speakers. You can chat with your fellow participants, and you can chat also in person, since many more startups joined us today, and you can see them physically in the studio. And if you have any further questions about the program, about the upcoming sessions, mentoring sessions, and the finals next week, our chatbot Laia is at your disposal. And now it's time to start with the first round. So, the first round of today's office hours, we are joined by the jury. You can see physically in the studio Michal Jablonka from Limerock.
Hi, hello.
Then Ľupták from Neulogy Ventures online.
Yes.
And also Peter Parragh from Oktogon Ventures. Hi guys, welcome in the studio. Welcome on this year's office hours. Just a short introduction or instructions for you, since we are in this hybrid mode and I can interact with Michal because he's really close. Jaro and Peter, if you will have the questions, just raise your hand. I can see that who's gonna want to be the next one, and I will pass you the word to ask the startups your questions, which you are interested in. So that's pretty much it, and I would go further to the first startup of today, who will present themselves, and it's called Blockcheck. So Blockcheck, the stage is yours.
Hi, can you hear me well?
We can hear you, we can see you.
Yeah, great. So I'll just proceed. So my name is Adam, and it's a pleasure for me to introduce you our company Blockcheck and our product. Right from the beginning, we help companies with blockchain technologies and development. We are really close to them during the development phase of their products, and we can see their everyday pains. That's why we started to think about how can we help them. Because blockchain is about exchanging digital assets, for example, tokens or NFTs. We came up with an idea of crypto assets gateway. You can see that as a plugin on your website, which helps you, for example, to raise funds. Other use case might be trading. Imagine you are a game developer and you see a potential in a play-to-earn model on blockchain. You want your players to be able to trade NFTs between themselves. It's really hard to create this solution with your existing development team. That's why you just integrate our existing solution and into your platform and let us handle all the risks. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Gentlemen, who will be the first one to ask? You can start, Michal.
Okay, so I will take the opportunity. Thank you for the intro. This seems to be, at least for me, as quite a challenging project on many fronts, right? The tech behind, this is very rapidly and dynamic changing environment that you're going to operate in. Also, it's going to be probably quite a challenge to build a sufficient scale. But I'm quite interested to see what you consider as your major challenges, as risks ahead, and why, or what do you believe would be the success factor for you to beat, for instance, other marketplaces that are already, I'm not saying very established, but probably a little bit ahead of you.
Well, I will start with your question about how would we like to beat other marketplaces which are on the market. I wouldn't say that it's our main goal. We would like to offer like set of tools which makes a new projects or new products which makes it easier for them to enter this market. And yeah, that's basically the answer for this question. And could you please repeat the other questions, which were
what you consider as your major challenges or things that you need to get right, and risks maybe that you see on the way for you to becoming a major marketplace?
Well, the challenges, maybe you already mentioned it, are, for example, the scaling, because we are like looking for, or we are trying to find ways how to improve our business model, and for example, how to set up the revenue model. That is, from my point of view, that is biggest like issue for us right now. But then after we set those all parameters good, I think we will be able to reach the whole market, because right now the tools on the market are really missing.
Would you like to respond, or?
Yeah.
Well, the question is if the revenue model is your biggest challenge, right? Because you probably have a lot of attempts to tweak the revenue model as you go. So maybe I just wanted to hear about something else, like how you're going to meet the two sides of the marketplace to interact between each other. And of course, this is, as I said, extremely dynamic environment, and it's changing very rapidly. So of course that represents an opportunity, but I'm sure that you're aware also of some things that may go wrong for you to grow.
Right now we are trying to solve the issues which we see like every day, because we already have some clients and we see where their pain points are. So I hope that once we see that the issue is like global, and many of our clients have those issues with the development of blockchain technologies, and that they would like to use some of our tools which we are developing. I would say that that's the match we are looking for.
Thank you. Jaro?
Can you talk a little bit more about the tools that you're actually building? Because from the presentation that I received beforehand, it seemed that you're trying to give them a kind of a tool to build their own proprietary marketplaces. And I actually have quite a bit of a doubt about success of that compared to like listings on OpenSea and so on and so forth, because obviously this project would like to tap into the biggest liquidity markets possible, right? So why would you actually build proprietary marketplaces for these guys? But then you're mentioning other tools, which I assume are helping the game developers bringing their in-game assets on chain. So can you talk more about that?
Okay. For example, our first plugin, which we already developed, is helping those projects at the beginning phase to raise funds. Because right now you have a few options how to raise funds through your community. You can use existing tools, for example, like the Excel, which is the platform which is accumulating lots of new tokens and enabling you to buy some of those tokens, and that's how the projects are gaining money to develop the project or the product. But what we want is to enable them to use a plugin directly on their website, so that they don't need to tell communities you need to go to this app and then you will look for our token and then you can buy some of these tokens. We want to help them to make it more simple, so that everyone from the community who enters their official platform or website sees the plugin and is able to buy the actual token. That is a tool which we already used in our clients' products. And regarding to the NFT marketplace, the question was, why would someone need to have their own marketplace instead of using, for example, OpenSea? The main issue is that OpenSea, you can manage what is going on in the OpenSea. Basically, you can create a bunch of NFTs there, but you can't prevent people to duplicate those original NFTs and sell them as a fakes. Once you have your own NFT marketplace, which you are in control of, you can have an overview what is being sold on your platform. And the other reason why is it important to have your own NFT marketplace is that OpenSea is overloaded with a bunch of nonsenses, and everybody on OpenSea, you can sell, for example, a picture you find on Google Images engine.
Yeah, can I have a follow-up question?
Yes,
to that?
for sure.
So you mentioned an interesting problem with NFTs, and obviously that what you're actually buying with an NFT is a digital signature, not really the digital asset itself, right? It still can be copied. And you mentioned that if these indie developers they build their own proprietary marketplaces, they can control what is being sold there, and you kind of building a permissioned marketplace by doing that. But don't you think that the kind of point of NFTs and blockchain in crypto gaming is mostly about being compatible with other chains and being transferable? So in fact, you cannot really prevent those users to actually sell on other marketplaces like OpenSea, and also you won't be able, by doing that, prevent people faking your in-game items and selling them on OpenSea, right?
Okay, I think that you have a good point, but for example, if you are talking about the game use case, where you are an indie game developer and you want to sell your NFT assets on marketplace and then use those NFTs in your game, that basically means that if you are selling those assets on OpenSea, and some of them are fakes, and someone buys it, then he is not able to use those fake NFTs in the game, and that means that your community will get mad about that, because they just bought something and they can't really use that. That's why the game developers and all of these projects are looking for a way how to control what is being sold on their marketplaces, or the platforms they are using.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Peter, it's your turn now.
Yeah, so what I wanted to ask you about is the market validation. So is your current customers are the one you mentioned as like target audience, like NFT, play to earn platform and future fundraisers?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And how are you planning to tackle these customer segments in the future? Do you have a plan for that?
Could you repeat, please?
So how are you planning to attack these market segments? Who will be like your ideal customer, or because it's quite broad and they are pretty segmented all around the world, early stage initiatives?
So we want to increase our market share by automating most of the processes which are needed to acquire a new customer, or to offer them our services and solutions. So yeah, we need to automate those processes. That also means that we need to improve our technology and products itself, so that they can like fit in the automated process of acquiring new customers.
We have 3 more minutes left. Any other questions, guys?
I have follow-up questions if needed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
All right. So, one of the things that I was concerned with is the business model that you presented. Kind of a subscription model, because actually, like you enable your customers to build or kind of leverage their own community. So not going through marketplaces, but actually, like kind of use their own community that they already have at, coming to their website. The problem that I see with that is that you as a company or as a platform are not building any sort of community. So, this is one of the parts of your model that I think won't scale, because basically like you sell every time to a specific customer, and this customer is leveraging their own community. There is no snowball effect when it comes to your company, your particular business. So I think that you might be creating a lot of value, but the problem with your business concept is that you're not capturing a lot of that value as an entity.
Okay, so you mean that if we had like our own community, we would be able to offer to our community our clients' products, right?
Right. I mean, like if you're an indie game developer, you might have some community, but obviously, one of the value propositions of these bigger marketplaces is the discovery. So basically, new users coming in there, looking for something to buy, and they see like, oh, this looks like an interesting product, and I'm just gonna buy this NFT. So this discovery part is also even more significant than like what they enable these companies to sell the NFTs, right? Because you can do that without the marketplace, essentially. The marketplace is there to aggregate users and to connect the buyers and sellers, right? So what I'm saying is that, like probably like one of the bigger kind of value capture models for you is basically creating a marketplace for yourself. But, obviously then you'll have to have like good differentiation strategy towards the main kind of well-funded NFT marketplaces out there. And one of the things that you mentioned already is how cluttered they are. There's a lot of fakes, a lot of nonsense. So I think like you can also fix that by two things. Either creating their own marketplaces, or providing users and the community, but with ways to verify authenticity of those NFTs. Because obviously not everybody is savvy enough to check on chain. Like what's the origin of the NFT and et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
Perfect. We have few seconds left, so maybe one last question. Peter, Michal, really quick one.
I didn't find any data about the traction or number of customers that you had and in your pitch deck. So
right now we are focusing on very few clients where we improve our solution. So we have about 5 clients, and and our traction could be described by our turnover, which is 2 million Czech crowns.
Perfect. Time's up. Adam, thank you very much. Thanks to the judges for the questions. And let's proceed to the second startup of this round, which is called Wewell app.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm pretty sure at least once you stood up in front of cosmetic shelf in a drugstore trying to figure it out which would be best fit for you. I can tell you from my experience and many others, like it's hell, it's not easy. Current consumer buying behavior is quite often to purchase expensive products not because of quality, but to do the marketing, brand name, or based on the packaging. Why? Because of the ingredients. They are often too complicated and need more profound knowledge of the chemicals. My name is Guillaume, I'm co-founder and CEO of Wewell. Wewell is a mobile application and acts as a personalized cosmetic shopping assistant that helps people to find the best cosmetics available based on their skin type and skin conditions using deep learning AI. Our competition exactly struggles in terms of the personalization. We are providing personalized evaluation of how cosmetic product matches the user's skin health, not just giving like general information about the product and its ingredients. At this stage, the business model for users is freemium. However, in the future, as an extension of the revenue model, we are planning to offer users the marketplace, which will be completely in sync with users' health, meaning like the skin types and skin conditions, so they can purchase the cosmetics without leaving their comfort zone home. We believe that everyone should know what cosmetics are they buy and how it will affect their health. On the closed beta, we gained 5,000 users, and can you imagine what we can do with after we launch? If you share the same values, join us on our journey. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gurami. So guys, who's gonna be the first one to ask? Peter, let's go.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So will you build a database on the different cosmetics products and the different skin types, and you will be the one who match them? Or how will be the data coming together?
Sure, great question. Actually, we are already started to build the product database. We have 400,000 products in our database, cosmetic products. We analyze that, also the ingredients. The ingredients analysis contains right now around 20,000 ingredients. We are analyzing them and we are matching like and evaluating it on the general scale, right? So right now we are raising the round to implement the personalization layer, right? So we want to do also that in-house, meaning conduct the self-assessment questionnaire, which the user will answer what they already know about their skin type, right? So if they have an acne or if they have some people, they would know, right? But the skin analysis will come as a second phase of the personalization, where we'll find out the unknowns of the user, right? If they have any acne, right, we will detect which level of the acne is, right? Either it's level 1, level 2, or level 3. So that's what it will be. So then we can actually harvest the data and personalize this data even more. So these two layers, like the product base, we need the product base because we need to know the ingredients and contain substances, and then we have to match their skin type and the skin health, and get the percentage how it matches their skin.
I'm not sure I understood from your pitch whether the skin type recognition feature is already working or not, or just under preparation. So is it up and running on your app?
We launched the MVP version, which includes the general evaluation of the product, not the personalization layer, meaning the skin analysis. We are like small team right now. We bootstrap so far, so that's why we are raising the round to push the product development and do this personalization layer in this runway. So yeah.
And you said you're analyzing like thousands of products.
Yes.
Are you doing it yourself? So we have a lab and you're actually analyzing the ingredients and the quality of the product yourself, or you are collecting the data from some other data sources?
Yeah, we don't need to analyze that manually. We have biotech engineer in our team and cosmetic ingredient specialist. So we created the formula. The formula is available on our website. How are we evaluating the ingredients? And we have like ingredient list. It's pretty static, but it was like lots of work like in the beginning of evaluating each one of them and using like the sources like European Commission, research centers, and the others. And once we have that, then we just need to harvest the data that is available publicly, meaning like the product name, product image, and the information about its ingredients is publicly available. It's like fair to use that. So we are scraping all the information from the e-commerces and like having the multiple bots which scrolls through the as I said, like to the e-commerce and fetch all the information. Yeah, that's how we collecting. We have like a semi-automated way. So what we want to achieve that if we don't have that product once the user searches, we want to achieve that the bot will search for them. So we will get the information straight away and inform them, the user with notification that we added the product in a couple of minutes.
Any additional questions from your side?
Not on this one. Maybe I would have some later.
Okay, Jaro?
Yeah, so I'm really interested in the science behind this. The way I understand it is that you're basically compiling information that's out there, right? And that's how you base your selection of ingredients, and that's how you rate them. Is that correct? Or is there anything proprietary with this model?
So the first layer, the ingredients evaluation, is based on the science, like based on the European Commission and research centers, and plus like the books.
Yeah. So basically it's kind of like and there's no IP connected to that. And then on the other side, on the skin analysis part, so you're conducting a questionnaire, or is there any tools like face scanning available? Or is that a plan?
So great question. The IP will be available on the second layer. Meaning like we want to do that in-house. We want to conduct the questionnaire with the help of the dermatologist to identify like the first part, how we have to treat this data. Like if the user like has some problems, they already know, or they are heavy drinkers of the alcohol, or what allergies they have, and things like that we cannot actually evaluate with the skin analysis, right? And the skin analysis will be also developed in-house. We already have the architecture and how to build it. Like the model will be trained, that's how we want to proceed.
Yeah, I would just encourage you to make a good IP search beforehand, because there's some IP related to this. Actually, we together with Peter, that's on the call, invested in a company that holds part of this IP. So just a side note. And I had another question, and that's related to the business model. In the presentation that I received, it was a subscription model, if I'm not mistaken, right? And here, I found like this being completely disconnected with your value proposition, because what you're suggesting is that people should not be shopping around and buying a different brand of cosmetics every time, but they should just basically have the app that tells them like this is the best one for you, and then they can basically stick with it, right? So what's then the point of subscribing to such a service?
Basically what we want to do is that we are freemium model at the moment. However, as an extension, and once we build this foundation layer of the personalization and all the databases and everything we have like in shape, we have the foundation of the user's health, like how are they using the product and so on. Then we want to add the marketplace, right? And in the marketplace, they will be able to purchase the cosmetics from us, and it will be like completely in sync with their health. So if they have like, let's say, simple example, oily skin, right? So we will not show the products that is like for the dry skin. They will have their user profiles. Like if the mother is shopping for herself, they will have their profile. If they're shopping for their kid, they will have their own profile. So that's how we want to tailor that. But how it matches with the subscription is that the subscription user has the personalization feature, right? So which will be moved forward to the marketplace when we are going to sync it up with the whole marketplace. So that's our vision for the revenue model.
Right, but you will be reselling, other brands, right? You're not planning on building your own brand.
I will not disclose that at the moment, but we are not doing that. We don't have that in our like short vision.
Right. So I think your answer, and I think it's a correct answer to me, because obviously now there's a really strong trend of cosmetic brands just basically saying like, hey, like this is the active ingredient that everybody is using, and like there's no point of adding anything else, so just buy this, right? And those are becoming really popular. So I think like jumping on that train by basically reselling substances and packaging them, is actually not a bad idea. Definitely better than kind of the model that is presented right now.
We have 6 more minutes, so feel free to ask further questions. Peter?
I have a bit more provocative one. So for me, the base idea is not brand new, like personalized skincare based on questionnaire or like selfie analysis. What do you think? Why the previous companies failed, and why you are an exception, or how you will be different from them?
I think that like this skin analysis or analysis of the product is not new, right? But these two layers didn't come together ever. So that's what we are actually bringing, right? It was mentioned already that there are like other producers producing their own personalized cosmetics, right? And they have all formula, all ingredients there, and they're promoting that. But what we are doing is that we are making this available for the users who want to buy like the products out there in the DM, Rossmann, or in the mainstream drugstores, right? So they don't sell the personalization part there, but they can have it on the device, like on the mobile. They can also track their own skin details there. But our main competitive advantage is that bring these two layers together and synchronize them. So that's our big power.
Michal?
One of the challenges that probably you're going to face down the road is that you need to build the trust of the users, that you're actually giving them the best independent recommendation, right? So once you match that with the marketplace, some of the users may just go away saying, well, these guys are getting paid to offer me something, and I'm not getting independent advice. Or how would you approach this situation?
That's an awesome question. Regarding the trust, we actually have the foundation that it should be like trust, right? This really matters. We have like everywhere written that we are 100% independent, and we will not like take any fees or any other like money from the manufacturer just to increase their score. We are like fully transparent. As I mentioned, we have our evaluation process on our website. So like we cannot like really lie, because whatever is on the ingredients list, like we are just evaluating the ingredients, and then the ingredients evaluations converts to the score. So that's really transparent about that. So yeah, we want to proceed in that way, and only do what's good for the user, and really recommend that.
Okay, 3 more minutes, so maybe we can manage one more question.
I'm kind of interested in how you plan to ensure that your customers have access to all the products that are available on the market.
what we are doing is that we are trying to cover the markets that we are in. Right now, we launched in Czech Republic and Slovakia. Right? We are covering, as we are tracking the success rate, we have like 80% success rate of the scanned product. That's a pretty good result for a small company like us. And we are still like getting the data every day. We are harvesting data with our crawler bots, like going to the e-commerce websites and fetching all the information, like as I mentioned, like the ingredient details, barcodes and names and so on. And then that's how we are collecting the database and updating it. Because also the updating part really matters. You know, it doesn't mean that like you have one product and that's it. The brands are keep changing that, so you have to update that as well. So we actually created like all the layers that supports this, and constantly adding products and updating them.
Why are you focusing on Czech and Slovak markets?
We are not
tiny.
focusing mainly in Czech and Slovak markets. We are just starting here. You know, we are just testing our application. We launched iOS in July. Android we launched like 2 weeks ago. So right now we are just fixing bugs.
What is the most sophisticated cosmetics market in your view?
Europe, US, and Asia as well. So I mean, basically US like is our primary target, but we just want to start in Europe because it's like our local market and we are really dominant here with our product database. But once we expand, like as I mentioned, our expansion is like pretty scalable, so we can actually enter those markets as well.
How do you work with or against influencers and influencer marketing in cosmetics?
As I mentioned, like 5,000 users we gained from the influencers. We created the community from the start. And those are like influencers as well, and they just helped us promote our Wewell application across like through their audience. And we haven't even spent any money yet, and we are really grateful for it. You know, like we got this momentum that we really create something valuable for the users, and they really appreciate that. So we want to really work with the influencers because we think that influencers are the best for us to reach our target audience in a much faster way than communicating that with our own social media channels when we don't have trust yet. But the influencers, they have trust, and that's how we want to go through them to let users know that, hey, this trusts us, now you can trust us as well. So yeah.
Perfect. Gurami, time's up. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the questions. Bye-bye.
And another startup which we will see in a while is called Solar Farm Cleaning Robot.
Hello, thank you for the chance of being here with you today. So my name is István and I represent a startup called for now the Solar Farm Cleaning Robot project from Budapest, Hungary. Well, as you might know, solar energy accounts for a small percentage, maybe around 5% of energy produced worldwide as of today, but is growing dynamically. And as time goes by, every solar panel has more and more pollution deposited on it, such as sand, dust, bird excrements, pesticide chemicals, pollens, and so on. And this results in less sunlight reaching the solar panel, which of course results in lower and lower production of electricity, which is a problem of profitability, a problem of energy supply, and also a problem of environment protection. Well, this is why you need to wash your solar panels regularly, but unfortunately most of such solutions are kind of wasteful with water as of nowadays. And as we might expect, solar farms will be more and more abundant in the world in the next, let's say, 1 decade, but unfortunately we will not have more water. Well, our team has a proprietary know-how which allows to wash solar panels about an order of magnitude less water consuming than the concurrent solutions that we know. And thus our solution allows to produce simply more electricity with solar farms by using less water. And of course, this can be interesting for different groups of clients, such as such as utilities, such as private entrepreneurs who have their own solar farms, and also to solar farm maintenance and installation companies, because this is a supplementary source of revenue for them to provide maintenance services thanks to our technology, and also to the producers of solar panels who might want to offer a complementary feature with their solar panels. Thank you.
Thank you, István. Who's going to be the first? Michal?
You mentioned here and also in your presentation several potential business models for you to go. You can rent the robots, you can try to sell them, you can try to do some OEM deals with the panel manufacturers. What is going to be your primary focus?
Well, first of all, I think the most important for us is because we are just centered in Hungary and this is a worldwide market. The most important would be, first of all, not to try to provide services of solar farm cleaning ourselves, because this would be kind of impractical. Now, to answer your question, well, I would say that maybe the most, I think it can depend also. It can depend on the type of client, because a utility who has a lot of solar farms, they might want to buy our solution. Let's say a smaller company who just provides maintenance services, they might want to, let's say, just rent it or license it. So I think basically the bigger the client is, the more they would want to buy it, and the smaller the client is, the more they want to just license or rent.
You mentioned that you had some field tests already done. What does that mean? Did you work with some real-world big farms and solar parks of, 10 megawatts? Did you try to clean with several robots, or you worked with the panel manufacturers to test with them, or what does that mean to have field tests performed?
Well, unfortunately, we didn't have as much money as that. It would have been great, but this was not the case. So we have built one prototype, and this prototype was tested near Székesfehérvár, as some people might know. It's a city not that far from Budapest, about 60 kilometers away, and we basically validated that the robot could be placed on the surface of the solar panels, and that it did not harm the surface of solar cells. So this was the main point of the field test.
And how heavy the robot is, and
Sorry?
how heavy it is? Can you safely use it on any type of panel?
Well, so just please bear in mind that this is a prototype, so of course we want to make it better, but the prototype is around 160 kilograms altogether.
Did you check on the terms of the warranties for the panels, which are usually 20 years, and these panel manufacturers usually make some carve-outs in the warranties, specifically in how you're using the panels. So would that impair the warranty in any way, or is there the risk that the panel manufacturers may say that, well, the warranty is not valid anymore because you use some robot to wash it?
Well, thank you. Actually, it's a very good question. My answer is that unfortunately we have not checked that yet, but obviously this is an important question that we should go to. And of course, if we find that in some cases this may impair the warranty, then it is an important direction of business development for us to get into communication with the manufacturers and convince them. But it is important to bear in mind that there are many other solutions to already and also automated solutions to wash solar panels. We have a kind of detailed concurrence analysis that we made. So our solution is just basically different in this proprietary know-how of washing solar panels by using water, but by using water in a very, very efficient way.
I've seen the Jaro raised hand, so...
Yeah, I have actually a question directly about what you mentioned last, so that was a good segue. I would like to better understand your value proposition, because as you said, like this kind of solar panel cleaning robots, I remember seeing them like a long time ago, and it's kind of like established technology. How big of an issue for solar panel cleaning is the usage of water? Like how in terms of resources, how much are you are you actually saving per, I don't know, like 10 megawatts installed capacity, or, however you measure it?
Our claim is that we use about an order of magnitude, so about 10 times less water to clean the same surface of solar panels than the water-based concurrent solutions that we know. How big is the issue? First of all, of course, it depends also on where you are situated on the planet, because let's say in Slovakia or Hungary, the issue might be much less important than, let's say, in some more arid regions of the world, such as even if you go to California, then they don't have that much water. And I think it's very important to remember that in the next, let's say, 10 years, there is a rather established consensus that solar capacity installed worldwide will still increase dynamically, whereas unfortunately most likely we will not have more water.
But can you use a numerical example of how you compare to your competitors in terms of water usage per clean surface area, or how are you measure it? So I'm really interested because you're saying that your solutions is using order of magnitude less water, but if the usage of water represents a fraction of a percent of cost of cleaning, then the value proposition is rather weak. If it's 10% or 20%, your value proposition becomes instantly really strong.
Well, yes, thank you for the question. So obviously we should go on and quantify this, which is, by the way, not that easy to quantify, because the cost of work, the cost of water is not the same, let's say, in Slovakia, in Hungary, maybe more or less the same. It's not the same in the US, not the same in India, not the same in Israel. So, but obviously we have to quantify this later. Regarding specifications, I can tell you our specification, which is to clean about 1,000 square meters of solar panels with about 8 liters of water-based cleaning solution. But unfortunately, it is not very current for most of our concurrents to just publish their specifications like that, especially regarding water consumption. So for this reason, it is not easy to compare to other concurrent solutions.
Are there any other approaches towards cleaning that are not using water solutions at all?
Yes, there are. They are much less frequent than water-based ones. Basically, we think that the reason for this is that if you don't use water, of course you can remove the not the kind of pollution that is not that closely deposited to the surface of solar panel, but there will be certain types that will simply remain on the panel. So obviously, we would not like to claim that our solution is the best everywhere and that it will cover all market needs. Obviously, our solution will also have its place in the market.
Right. So, which geographies or which parts of the world are you planning to target first as your kind of early adopters? Because I believe your value proposition is only attractive to a very specific group of clients. So I guess you must have pretty strong plan about that.
Well, I think there are two main conditions that our target group has to fulfill. One is that they must have a relatively arid climate, maybe more arid than let's see the one that we have here in Central Europe. And on the other hand, they need to have a certain degree of development. So for this reason, let's say, I think the southern parts of the USA could be a good area for our value proposition. Also the southern parts of Europe, such as Spain, Italy, and these countries. Regarding, let's say, Israel or the more arid parts of India, it's a question because obviously in its current state, our technology is not designed to, let's say, remove a lot of sand after a sandstorm of the solar panels, but maybe also this is the next we can work on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter?
Yeah, so I think what Jaro just mentioned, like quantifying the cost saving is extremely important in the business model. But what I'm curious about is what's your plan for the upcoming, let's say, half year, 1 year? Are you actively fundraising or are you going into production? Are you going to sell your product? So what's now?
Well, now we are in the phase of fundraising simply because we would like to develop further and complete our prototype. Of course, actually, I'm realizing during the week of this startup bootcamp with you guys that also this kind of bootcamp is very important because it raises a lot of questions that we might think about, and that let's say if we happen to find funds, let's say in the next half year, then we would also need to implement a lot of ideas, a lot of details into our product development. But to answer short your question, now really our priority is fundraising to complete our product development.
Are you in discussion with the potential clients as well to, I don't know, maybe fund your production or come along on the board as an investor?
Well, now we are in having discussions with a French company who themselves they are in the cleaning industry, not only cleaning solar panels but also other kinds of industrial appliances. And here just please let me remind everybody that our solution is for industrial scale solar farms, so not for, let's say, solar panels on someone's rooftop, but for solar farms which are used to produce energy in large scale. So now we are in having discussions with this French company. Of course, it's a good feeling for us that there is a real life company and they have some interest to our solution. And otherwise, I think I've told that 1 or 2 days ago for the question I was online with you that we receive time by time requests from all over the world, even from Argentina, Australia, Middle East, from people who just see our website, actually, because we have 2 websites. Anyway, so they see one of our websites and then they say, okay, hello guys, we would like to, can you please make me a quotation for my 2 acres of solar panels to clean them? And every time we have to answer that, sorry, this is just a prototype, we cannot clean your solar panels yet. So there is interest for this kind of solution. And we also had, sorry, I'm hearing myself, I think. So yes, and actually we also had some discussions with Hungarian industry players, with Hungarian from the maintenance sector and then the installation sector of solar farms. And they told us that as development partners they are not interested, but if this product would be ready, then they would be really interested in it because it would be a very good way for them to propose this service to their clients and this way create additional revenues.
And István, maybe other investors are listening to this discussion. How much money are you raising?
Thank you for the question. Actually, we had a calculation before, and of course, as time goes by, we have to refine it. And actually, we were just refining it in the past few days also, thanks to the experience of these bootcamps. I would say that the investment we would need now is around 400,000 euros.
Okay.
Thank you.
Where do you expect this money to bring you to? Would you? I guess that you complete the development phase, but would that mean that you'll be able to cover also go-to-market phase, and you can then have sustainable business model after this investment round?
Well, my expectation is that with this money we could finish product development, and in parallel we could also perform business development and marketing actions. So by the end of, let's say, a 1-year product development cycle, we would have a finished product and also the first hopefully meaningful partnerships and client relationships established, because we would like to do the 2 things in parallel. So, and to answer your question, of course, we cannot guarantee, unfortunately, that after 1 year it will be a sustainable business model. But of course, if this is our goal, so really we would like to, let's say, in 1 year's time, finish product development and also to at the same time create the first important partnerships.
Thank you, István.
Thank you.
We are at the end of the first round of this office hours, and I would like to ask for the round of applause for the startups and even mentors and judges who will join us. And we will see each other in a few minutes when we start the second round. Thank you. We are back at the studio of Future Now Hybrid Bootcamp 2021 in Hub Bratislava, and it's time to kick off the second round of today's office hours. I'm joined with the next round of judges, Matej, Říha from Venture to Future Fund, then Bernat, Nacsa from Day One Capital, and Guillaume Fournier from Credo Ventures. Hi guys, welcome.
Hello.
And we will start with the first startup of the second round, which is called Phone In, and Jesse will give us a short introduction.
Hi, thanks everybody. Delivery is a really big deal. Delivery is at the core of billion and trillion-dollar businesses like Amazon and Wolt and Gorillas. Missed deliveries is a really big problem, costing these businesses billions of dollars annually, wasting CO2 emissions, and making it so you and we all have to wait at home from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on some random Tuesday to get a delivery. We actually see at Phone In, delivery is part of a bigger concept, access. Access even affects businesses like Airbnb and even Hub and HP Revis that have employees and guests and deliveries coming and going all day. So at Phone In, we are shaping the future of smart access. We're creating a suite of smart devices like locks and intercoms and cameras that all work together seamlessly under one app, so you can control access to your space right from your phone. And the best part is that we're then going to open it up as a platform so that these companies like Airbnb and Amazon and Wolt can get seamless access for a nominal fee from them to get direct access to your space without you needing to do anything. You just get a push notification that the delivery arrived with a video and a picture of the delivery person dropping off the package. So when you get it home from work after a hard day, your groceries are waiting for you at home. That's the future of smart access with Phone In. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. We have now 15 minutes to discuss the questions from the jury. Who will be the first one to ask? Matej?
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Quite interesting. Maybe I'd like to ask the competition with complex smart home solution providers. How would you like to deal with it with one or two hardwares you are offering?
So that's dealing with competition from custom installation solutions that are very complex?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're really trying to reach a mass market. Nobody's found, there's a couple great smart home examples of mass market products like Google Nest and of course the smart home assistants. Smart light bulbs and some door locks are having a lot of success as well. We really want to go in a unified solution and direct to the consumer in a mass market way. So we're going to sell directly online, and we're going to be as widely compatible and easy to install as possible with a strong focus on branding and fun usability. So that's how, these custom installation solutions are very expensive. They're always one-off, so you always got to go back to that same provider when some upgrade happens, when something breaks. We're really going to try to make the process as easy and cheap for your average consumer as possible.
Thank you.
Do you have any additional questions?
Maybe I let the floor also to colleagues.
Okay. Guillaume?
Can I ask, last week I went to Lisbon for Web Summit. I had an Airbnb and I never met the owner. I had a code and there was a smart lock and I let myself in. So the first question, I guess, is on what makes you feel like the need is not already met. The second one is that same experience led to me for 3 days being incredibly worried about my phone dying, because if my phone died, I was not going to be able to get back in my Airbnb. So at the end of the day, I wasn't completely sold on the experience, and somehow wished that had normal keys, because at the end of there's a reason they're still around sometimes.
Ah, great.
So I guess there's two questions in there.
Yeah, great example, great feedback. So for the first question, was your Airbnb in like a house, or was it in an apartment building with a flat in a bigger building?
apartment building with the flat, so it both allowed me to get into the building and my own the flat that specifically I was renting.
And was the intercom, was the outer door like it had some sort of pre-built code, or was it a custom one-time use code from some sort of smart device?
It was actually through a website where you would unlock it with a special. You would go on a specific URL to your booking, and it was a slider unlock, and the door opened. I'm not actually sure how the hardware was.
So there's yes. So this is kind of some kind of smart intercom. So that's exactly what we want to provide as well. And they're actually, it's a very young industry that's trying to create this sort of unified smart intercom solution. Then when you go into the flat, there's another smart device that may or may not be part of the same suite of products. It's very young, it's very early, and the existing company that's doing it is called Nuki, and their branding is terrible. And to be honest, their app is very, very limited. They're a hardware company. They don't know software. So we're trying to really move quickly into that same exact space to and have even more wide compatibility across more of Europe than they can support. Our solution is better for that. Yes, that's right. So we're going to really be doing the same thing and make it as widely compatible and easy as possible. One thing that we do that they cannot provide is that if your battery dies on your phone and you ring the intercom to the flat or the door you're going in, if you can't get in, you hit the button to ring the flat, it actually rings the phone of the owner. So even with Airbnb, lost keys is a problem where owners are waking up at 2 in the morning to go run down and let their people in because they got the spare keys. So with our product, they can even do that remotely. If your phone dies, you buzz them, they just let you in from their mobile phone. So better solutions to this problem is why it hasn't been taking off yet and why you didn't have a great experience. We're going to make it the right solution to the problem, not a half solution like it is now.
So you mentioned compatibilities. Can you break it down? What part of the infrastructure is kind of the heritage infrastructure, the intercom and all that, and what's your side and how are they connected? I'm just trying to understand like how big of a part of the product you own.
Right now we're entering the market with our smart intercom because that product is younger with less competition in that space. We can demand some first mover profitability and higher revenues higher profitability because others are not really playing in that space yet. We've got a big lab here in Budapest, or there in Budapest, with many doorbells from all across Europe that we've collected to research and scan and be as widely compatible as possible. So that compatibility issue, and we're already the most widely compatible of any sort of smart intercom out there. We want to make it as easy for a customer as possible to just look on our website, make sure they know that their product's compatible, order it, quick installation. If for some reason it's not compatible, of course we accept return, and we even have kind of like a social system of crowdsourcing where we can send them a measuring kit to be the first to support that type of system. But there's actually not that many. There's maybe 50 to 100 in all of Europe. So it's hard work, but it can be done. When it comes to the door lock and cameras, that's actually sort of a solved problem, and we're probably just going to white label great solutions from a Chinese manufacturer, slap the phone and stick around there. That part shouldn't require a huge research budget from us, but by combining all these products under one label and in one app, you can really give access in one click, where the person gets in, the delivery person or the Airbnb guest gets in the building door in your flat, the cameras turn on, the pictures are taken, they go out, and so by combining all the products together, the solution becomes much more valuable. But really the intercom is only the hard problem, the hardest problem we have to solve from a technical side.
We have still some time left. Bernat, do you have any additional questions?
Yeah, maybe I'm just wondering about the target audience or like the typical customer persona, because you mentioned Airbnb hosts, but also a bunch of other use cases, and probably most of the people in the cities in Europe live in apartment buildings. So how do you shoot at them with a sniper and not with a shotgun?
So far, our research is showing that the best results are coming from kind of this smart home hacker person who has not lots of nice gadgets in their house. They're definitely going to be our early adopter. We are shooting with a shotgun. Converting Airbnb hosts is, in particular, going to companies that have 500 or 1,000 Airbnbs in a city hasn't been successful for us yet. We've got a little bit of interest, but the sales cycle, of course, is long, and that's actually not our strength at this point, is managing long sales cycles. Whereas Facebook and Instagram ads are actually doing great. Our cost per acquisition is relatively low in the $10 to $20 range for a $350 product. And from what we notice, it's generally individual consumers who want better delivery experience. And I think that's really important for our business because, of course, we want to onboard these platforms like Amazon and Wolt that would give us incredible power, but they're probably not going to fund us to bring them to that future until we can prove that people really want this product in their home. So first we sell this product online with a great brand, great advertising, and a really cool product, then we onboard those platforms.
Gentlemen, do we have another questions?
So from a business model point of view, have you, with these Instagram ads, etc., assume the pitch is simple, it's by our hardware, have you, does the offer include any sort of subscription? And if so, have you been able to validate it already or not? Will that come later?
There's a little bit of validation from existing products, such as the Ring camera doorbell, where users frequently pay $10 a month to be able to upload videos and watch what's happened before. So we can follow that model. With Airbnb hosts, we imagine a model, or even small businesses, say like a dentist's office or a doctor or a lawyer, who are in an apartment building and want to have customers coming and going all day. We imagine sort of a number of key limit, like an access limit per day where you need to pay for the premium service. And I believe business, B2B customers will pay that for the peace of mind of knowing that the product's going to be great and you get support. As for your average smart home consumer who just kind of gets deliveries once in a while, I don't know of a subscription model for that person other than camera, which is sort of proven already from other products. So that's kind of the only one we're working with now for the main segment, the consumer.
Mm-hmm. I guess I have one more question. If no one wants to take the floor, I'll keep talking. Have you considered, in terms of fundraising, have you considered Kickstarter? It feels like this is one of the types of product that Kickstarter is very good for.
Yeah, great idea. We'll be running our Kickstarter in April. So we are trying to do a little fundraising prior to make sure that we're really ready to just push forward on Facebook ads and any juice needed to make it as successful as possible. And then preparing for some investment either before or immediately after a successful Kickstarter, so we can simultaneously be delivering the products we promise in the Kickstarter and building out the suite of companion products.
Got it.
Thank you. Matej?
And in the future, what will be the major segment, deliveries or Airbnb, and how would you like to focus on these individual segments in terms of marketing and go-to-market strategy? Would you use individual approach or?
I think we were going to take a mass market approach to just market research data, like with large amounts of ads and using Facebook and Google Analytics to see what's performing well. I was very surprised. I thought from my conversations, my individual interviews, Airbnb hosts seemed to be the most passionate. Mm-hmm. And since they actually have money on the table, they're paying people to run around and hand off keys a lot, or dealing with these ugly lock boxes on different buildings, depending on the building. That's not even allowed. So I thought Airbnb was going to be our most passionate segment, but it didn't turn out that way. It could be related to COVID, but even still, the sales cycle just isn't converting, and your average consumer is converting well. So I guess that is kind of shown by the smart home gadget community of the world. It's a very, very big industry in the tens of billions.
And considering only the direct sales and e-shop, or would you like to partner with some service companies or another partners who would sell your product?
Direct sales for at least some years. Yeah, the complication and the fees sharing for that seems to be very difficult for young hardware startups, so that would be much later.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we do not have any more questions. So Jesse, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we will proceed. We'll proceed with another startup called Battery Check. So, Michal, the stage is yours.
Hello, guys. Manufacturers go electric, so they are leaving fossil fuel engines, cables, or mechanical forces, and one of the primary sources of the energy right now is the batteries. So they put batteries into various professional or end-user devices, but there are a lot of challenges for them because they are investing a lot of money just to shift from one source of the energy to another one. And one of the challenges is basically the supply chain, because they have to source the batteries mostly in Asia, which is a very problematic thing right now. Then once they install the batteries inside of the devices, they are struggling with battery unpredictability, especially in the life cycle, because they don't know what's happening once the users are using. And then there is also a huge push from the regulators and also Green Deal. So there are a lot of forces which is not going to make it easy for those guys, and the only solution right now is basically a battery indicator, the capacity which we have on the device, which we fully rely on, but we don't know when the battery in the device is going to fail. So our solution is a cloud-based software analytical platform, which is basically going to tell you what is happening with the battery and the device itself. And we are ingesting the data which already exists from the battery management system, via internet. Then we safely store it, analyze it, look for anomalies and predictions, and give back the results to the manufacturers so they can either use it for their internal operations, warranty contracts, SLAs, contracts, or also transfer it to their B2B or B2C customers.
Thank you. Who's going to kickstart the question round? Guillaume or Bernat? Bernat, feel free to go.
Right, thanks. Is the use case more focused on individual cases? So me as a corporation, I'm getting the data, and if there's a problem, like I can deal with that because I have the data, or is it more like that insight going into future product development?
Well, basically both. We are kind of enabler of various scenarios. So you can either use it for procurement and warranties, new product development, then keeping the existing SLA contracts, or also at the end of the life cycle to go second life or even to the recycling. Because nobody's collecting the data but Tesla. But Tesla is further down the road in many areas.
What's like the average value of a device where it's worth tracking the data? I assume some $10-20 devices, it wouldn't be the case.
Well, look, one of our customers is EV manufacturer, another one is a service provider, and another one is another service provider. And we are going to have a big pilot since next month with the IoT sensor producer. So it depends. We want to be as cheap as possible for those manufacturers to know not to do it internally, so they will buy our service, because we are API in, API out. So they would just give us the data and we give them the results, so they don't have to develop the whole knowledge and experience, AI and then everything around it. So it's not about the price of the device. It's about what the device can enable, or whether if there is any failure, how cost-wise, this failure might be affecting the manufacturer. So it could be either the smoke detector, which is there, the battery might cost, I don't know, €1. But if there is a fire here, there could be a bigger damage.
Yeah, but is it a figure? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to compliment on what you said, where I think the implicit is that if the battery just costs €1, people will just change it and not bother to milk as much life out of it as possible.
Yeah, you are right, but they are
That's
going
what I
to
understood
change it
Bernat's
when
question.
they are going to change it when they found out they have to change it. So they don't know when they have to change it or what are the consequences. Of course, if you talk about, I don't know, the remote control at home, you just change the battery and that's it. But if you are in a manufacturing area or B2B, you have a service level agreements and you need to do predictive maintenance replacement contracts because you are not allowed to enter certain areas or even, I mean, get to the device itself with the battery. So I mean, but the scenarios in the end user and in the business are completely different. I mean, imagine you have a huge warehouse where there are a lot of AGVs, I mean, underneath the pallets, and they are, I mean, going around, especially right now before the Christmas seasons. And if you have, I don't know, 100 AGVs and 10 are failing, I mean, then you have a big problem, I mean, in delivering all the packages.
Indeed.
What was
So one question I had was, I didn't completely understand how you specifically are able to get insights about those batteries that the manufacturers or the operators wouldn't have.
Okay.
Where does that knowledge base come from?
We are not getting into the devices. I mean, we are pure software solutions, so we are not adding any hardware because each battery, I mean, has a battery management system, which basically covers the safe charging and discharging of the battery. And this battery management system is hardware and software, and there are certain data, and we can take the data from some kind of a communication, so it could be IoT connected device, so either, I mean, via app or internet, so we ingest the data, get it to us, and then, I mean, how we analyze it and then provide the feedback via API back. So we are not going inside of the data, inside of the device. Sometimes we would not even be able to because of whatever regulation or any other security issues in case of IoT. We just need the results. So either we get it from the device, from the platform which is managing devices, or from some storage of the manufacturer. And it could be Amazon, AWS, or Azure, or whatever.
Does it mean that the customer...
I wasn't clear how you specifically using that data would have more insights about the battery life than whatever software layer exists on that battery management system. Is it purely through volume and big data, basically?
Yeah, it's volume and big data and the knowledge of IoT and battery. I mean, we are ex-corporate rats. I am 16 years in IoT, 8 years in energy storage. We have chief battery officer who has 20 plus years of in battery design and manufacturing. So we know what is happening there. And this is a service for any kind of a device. So we want to make it cheap so people just procure it and don't have to develop it.
Okay.
What was okay.
Matej, it's your turn, then we will get back to the answers.
Thank you very much.
Bernat.
What was interesting for me that it was the data for the manufacturers, mainly for the warranties and guarantees they are giving to companies when buying those batteries. Is this segment something, is this segment, will this segment dominate in the future? Do you have a good experience? Like, what is the current cooperation with the battery producers?
We don't cooperate with battery producers. If we talk about this as a battery, this is a battery cell. But if we talk about the battery producers, which will make the battery pack out of it,
right.
And there is a battery management system, so there are data, we can work with them. But these are the big players like LG, Samsung, Inobat in Slovakia, for example, but they are at the beginning of the whole thing. But it's far easier for us to talk to the manufacturers because once they take the battery pack and put it into the electric vehicle or sensor, we know whom to talk to. And because of our personal contacts and partners, we have easier job to talk to these guys. And they feel the pain because they say, you know what, we don't know what's happening. And we have to keep the SLA. And I don't want to sell the device. I want to rent it. And I have to know what's happening because my EVs are going to be in Greece. There is a lot of sun. And I don't have a partner there yet. I have to know, I mean, like nearly online what is happening. So this is like the first layer of the customers where we can get the data.
Right. And how many customers like this you have, or you made some pilot projects?
So far we had 10 pilot projects.
Okay.
Now we have 3 customers, not paying ones. We need to find the little hardware which is going to ingest the data. And once we find it, but these are lead acid batteries. These are not lithium.
For forklifts or?
Forklifts, energy storage. Forklifts, energy storage, and ventilation systems on a huge shopping malls or warehouses. And even though the lithium is very popular and there are the huge increases, vast majority of the energy storage is lead acid. So there's a huge market. And once we get the small little technical device, I mean, we will have a paying customer. So it's just a matter of 2 to 3 months. And we are starting the big pilot project in December with a Slovak manufacturer, 2,000 sensors in Middle East. So a lot of sun, a lot of bad stuff for the batteries. So
of course.
Yeah, we are looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Bernat?
Yeah, sorry, what you just said. So the quick hardware device is a sensor which gets the data to you. Is it like a connectivity module?
No, connectivity is easy. There are a lot of like IoT gateways. I mean, what I'm talking about is actually the sensor, which is able to sense the current voltage and temperature from the lead acid battery. If you think of the car battery, it just has plus and minus, and that's basically it. You have to put there a couple of more sensors to get the proper telemetry measurements out of it. So yeah, we can buy it, but these cost like hundreds of euros, which is not sustainable. Or we will just find something else what we are working on, which will cost, I don't know, tens or maybe up to 100, and then the scenario is feasible for the customer.
Right. Just kind of taking a step back, like when you're talking to customers, is it something they feel as a pain? Is it something you need to convince them, or can you tell a little bit more about that?
Well, if we get to the right person, either a top manager or product innovation, they know immediately what we are doing. They struggle with the battery life. I mean, they don't know what's happening. I mean, if you are a regular user at home and your phone dies, like the guys discussed it here, you just look for the cable and that's it. But if you are a manufacturer and you have a B2B business, it's a completely different league, and you have to know what's happening, because especially in case of EV, the price of the battery is 30 to 50% of the whole EV. So you can do whatever protection and hedging. If the battery fails and you are within 80 years, you have a really big problem. Really.
Is it? I assume they typically take like more risk-averse approach, that they swap the batteries way before it would become an issue, right? So basically that you can extend that because you actually have data and track that. That's kind of the margin you can offer and split with them, right?
That's one of the scenarios. I mean, like a kind of a risk scenario. There are far more. I mean, they obviously, as mentioned, they want to go from capex to opex, so they want to rent it because they sell these devices to municipalities and they don't have very much investment money, but they can find a couple of hundreds of euros per month per device, sensor or EV to operate it. So we have like 6 or 7 different groups of the scenarios which we talk with the customers. But one of the first one is basically battery life, and the second one is regulation. For example, banks don't want to finance manufacturers right now if they are not tracking the batteries, because batteries are toxic, and then very expensive, flammable. So they want to see that they do something with that. So and this banking thing just came like 3 months ago, because we talked to some of the big manufacturers of the power tools from DACH region, from Germany and Switzerland. They say, we have a problem. I mean, we don't know what to do with it, and we need the money to finance our operations. We need to source the battery cells from Asia, which are heavily contracted by electric vehicle manufacturers. So we have to fight for our life here on the market.
Cool. We have still some minutes left. Do we have like one last question from you guys, the jury? Nothing online, Matej?
Maybe one question interesting for me is, how do you tackle the problem that sometimes you are selling to managers the future benefit? You are selling something, what happens in 4 or 5 years, and we know that managers are usually motivated by KPIs, and these are up to 3 years. Of course, this is ecological, you save some costs, you told us the story with the banks, but usually the service techniques at companies are not thinking in medium-term horizon. How do you motivate them to implement your solution?
Yeah, we are ex-corporate rats, so we are used to talk to the upper management if that is possible. So we talk to the either owners or the C-level. And then these are, well, they are of course motivated based on their annual bonus, but also they have to have the vision to the future. And they understand that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Because they have to start with the first data, the first analytics, first scenarios. Then there are others which are much faster. So for example, there will be EU regulation that if something is going to happen to your battery in electric vehicle, 4 minutes before that you have to warn the driver. So imagine how fast you have to have the data. They are not ready for it. So we are talking about, I mean, real partnership with these guys and ongoing, I mean, iterations of the process. And because of our experience, I mean, they like what we are doing, and then that we are bringing them the questions they don't know they have to ask. So when we had a meeting in Denmark with one of the small and big logistic giant there, and we were there with with my chief battery officer. I mean, it was supposed to be 30-minute meeting, and we had 1 hour meeting, and they were like opening eyes. I mean, it's like we haven't even thought that this should be possible. But we definitely want to go there because we have to be carbon dioxide neutral by 2050, and we are 2021. And it's not that easy just to switch from fossil fuels to batteries and to electricity. So yes, it's possible, but we have to talk to the right people, and thank God so far we do.
Interesting, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe I have one last question since we have 1 minute. What is the target market where you want to start with?
Yeah, well, right now we are Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, and DACH region, but we don't have the luxury to pick the market. I mean, but for us, we go to IoT because we understand that very well, and there are a lot of IoT connected devices, and then based on the AT Kearney research, there will be like 26 billion by 2025. And in our segment where we can get the data, so they are connected and they have the telemetry data, it's around 1 billion. So we do have a lot of work in Europe, of course. And then if we succeed here, I mean, we can go further somewhere else.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And let's continue. The third startup of the second round is called Foodbucks. So
Hello.
the stage is yours. Hello.
Hello, I'm
It's a
Matej.
TV talking to a TV.
Hi, I'm Ula, and we are founders of Foodbucks. We offer insect-based food, for example, protein bars, chips, and dried insects. And why insects? Because they are very nutritious, they're rich in protein, and the most important thing is that their farming is better for the environment than animal husbandry. So our startup focuses on 3 main pillars of activity. First one, e-commerce. We have opened and developed our online store. Second one is distribution. We have started and distribution to stationary points like health food stores and climbing walls. And the third one is production. We're in the process of launching our signature products. So we are currently looking for a funded to become the first Polish producer of protein bars with edible insects. And we also want to expand our activities beyond the Polish market.
Thank you. So let's do the questions. Who's going to be the first one to ask? Bernat?
Yeah, are you doing something more or better than the other producers, or the market is just simply big enough for many of you?
So the market is unsaturated. So we think that we have a lot of space here, and we have one competitive company in Poland. So I think we have a chance to be big.
The Czech guys, what are they called? Sense, I think. Are they not available in Poland?
Yes, because we're selling their products. Yeah, we're selling products from Sense and Jimmy's right now.
Yes, we are mainly distributor Sense and brand Gemini's in Polish market at the moment.
Okay. But so just to be clear, your ambition is to then make your own brand and develop your own that direct-to-consumer brand of insect-based bars and protein sources.
Yes, right now we're in the process with improving our recipe, and when we will do it, we want to sell these samples to our customers, and we hope that we will produce it on the larger scale.
What made you decide that the products of Sense or Gemini were not enough, and that this other, I don't know if it's a different brand positioning or different recipe that you want to go after, but what made you say, oh, there's a gap here?
Because, for example, like protein bars, the Sense has only 5 kinds of protein bars. Gemini has like 4, and we think that there's a place for us, and we hope that Polish customers.
We built awareness to Polish markets because this edible products based of edible insect is totally new in Poland and very different countries in Europe yet.
Are you gonna have a premium price point like most of these products, or do you see kind of a path to compete with other more traditional protein bars? Like pricing.
Sorry, Bernat, we cannot hear you properly.
Can you repeat, please?
I think that we have some connection issues.
Yeah.
Sorry about Bernat.
So until Bernat get back, Matej, maybe you have some questions.
Yes, maybe I'm asking the same, but I would like you to elaborate more on that, because you said in the presentation that the market potential is quite huge, but there are some cultural barriers in Europe. And as the market is huge, what do you expect in the future? Will it be dominated by few large players or by many small companies? And what will be in the future your unique market proposition?
So I think that we will be one of the biggest players in few years, especially when we will start our production. Yeah, I think that in few years we will produce not only protein bars, but maybe some other snacks like chips. So I think that we dream big.
Understand. And will you purchase the input, or do you plan in the future to invest into some farms to grow your own inputs?
So right now it's not possible to farming insects for people. Yeah, it's only for animals.
In
yeah,
yes.
in Poland. But we hope that the regulations will change, and maybe one day we will have our own farm.
Bernat, you are back. You wanted to ask something, but then we had these technical complications.
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, my question was regarding the pricing, whether you want to or can compete with more traditional protein bars like whey or soy or whatever is on the market, which is not insect-based, because like in my experience, typically insect bars are still premium products, and with that probably it attracts a smaller market.
I think that the price is similar, so I think that we can compete with conventional protein bars. I think that it's better for clients who want to reduce milk products, who are lactose intolerant. So I think that it's not a premium product right now.
Other questions?
Have you guys considered going B2B, or you don't feel like there's an interesting opportunity in there? And I mean, using insect as a source of food for, I've heard about it for salmon fishing, for example, in aquaculture and other B2B applications.
So right now we have a few B2B clients. It's, for example, universities. They're buying cricket flour for food technology classes. We don't know if maybe one day we will have a B2B clients that will produce something from cricket flour that we will provide them. But right now it's usually universities.
Yes, healthy food store climbing wall is the most growing niche in Poland. Very different climb wall is interesting our products. And premium gym and CrossFit clubs. It is our target.
But like I said, there's no competitive producers in Poland. There's nobody who produce insects-based food for humans. So so maybe we can be the first one. So we don't have a place to be like you said, yeah.
Matej?
Who is helping you with the recipe for your own products, and how will the production will be organized? Will it be subcontracted, or will you use different producers? Could you elaborate more on this, please?
So I'm a dietitian, so we make a recipe at home. Yeah, I'm doing it. I think that we're trying to get some money to have our own place equipment to produce our own protein bars. I think that we will go this way because of. I think that some producers can be scared of allergies. Yeah, because insects. People can be allergic to insects where they have other allergies like seafood. Yeah, so I think that they can be scared of it. But so we want to do this by our own way. Yeah.
If we don't have any more questions, I may have a last one. Since you have the unique opportunity to discuss with the VCs right now, I believe that you are also looking for investment, and I'm curious about what for would you need that money for?
Which
sorry. Yes, we need.
We need about 200,000 euros to start our own place to buy equipment.
Cost necessary to verify the product, test packages, consultation a qualified study on a group of value news, obtaining an ecological certificate, and cost of introducing the product to the market. Cost of running a website, shopping cost, marketing cost. This, in our opinion, is the most important on the beginning.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And round of applause for the startups and also for our jury. And we continue with the third round of today's office hours in a few minutes. See you later. and we are back at the office hours of Future Now Hybrid Bootcamp 2021. The main point of this session is to discuss the value propositions, challenges, and maybe investment expectations of the startups with the representatives of regional VCs. And in this third and last round, I'm joined by our jury and mentors, such as Slavo Tuleja from Zaka Startups here in the studio, and online by Lucia, Timek from Crowdberry, Jaroslav, Trojan from Nation One, and Zsolt, Borbely from High Ventures. Hi, guys.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Before we invite the first startup of this round to the stage, just one rule to you online. When you will have a question, just raise your hand so I will see you and I will pass the word to you. And Slavo, we will interact physically in the space in the studio, so it won't be a problem. And let's begin with the first startup called Promobay, which will be presented by René. Here you are.
Hello, my name is René. I'm co-founder of Promobay, where we create the world's most influential human network, meaning that transnational corporations, media or marketing agencies, or just small businesses will be able to leverage the power of the crowd for promotion of their products. Nowadays, solutions are focused for big guys like our co-founder Gogois, who's gathered 2 million followers on YouTube, 1 million on Instagram. And it's bad because the focus goes to small users, because accounts with under 1K followers have 7 times higher engagement rate than those with over 100K followers, which results in much better return of marketing investment. So we create this focused solution in the space that's been growing 50% annually, top 10 billion last year, expected to reach 100 billion by 2030. And we are about to finalize our MVP by the end of the year. In March, there will be campaigns with our confirmed clients, Wisnerod, Nestle, Unilever, and 365 Bank. And after this, we want to expand really fast. And for this, we are searching an investment partner.
Thank you very much. And who's going to be the first one to ask the question? Someone from the online? Here you are.
So thanks a lot for the presentation. My question is around differentiation. How Promobay is different from all of the other platforms that are out there.
So, like I said, there are platforms, many of them because it's hot space, but all of them are focused for big users or big influencers. Those have over 5K or 10K subscribers, and all of these are only agency-like solutions. And that's something what we didn't really want to do, because actually started a few years ago, like this kind of agency, but we all know that's not scalable business at all. So we tried to create something which can be completely automated, where whether it's McDonald's or their agency, they come on the platform, they create a brief, and they just see the estimation, and instead of spending 10,000 euro on one Gogo or Explode, they just spend 5,000 on smaller influencer, and then our job is to distribute it to other people, and let's say these other 5K, they can spend for 500 pictures outcomes, and suddenly instead of one influencer you have a buzz, real buzz on social media, where the biggest attention is nowadays. So this is the first thing, that we focus on these small users, but we are not forgetting the big ones, big influencers, of course, because they are also essential for us, because we have created also great referral system for them, because these guys, they have create, and they cannot handle it in long term, actually, so they need to make some spin-off or some passive income. So we created for these big influencers passive income in the form that they acquire users for us. So basically they are creating their tribes, I would say, and they are fulfilling the dream of their communities, actually, because like our Gogo example, their followers were asking him all the time, like, Gogo, how can we earn on social media? And the proper solution was not on the market, so we're trying to build one.
Jaroslav, do you have any follow-up questions to this? Thank you very much. Let's continue with Slavo.
I would like to know, how do you measure the results? So how do you measure conversions with these small influencers?
Yeah, so first what we had were estimations, because when you have small accounts, it's much more precise that you can estimate it, but it was much harder to make things like measure it, because you need, on Instagram, you need profile over 10K to measure it really, because you have link. But it's not true anymore. If you're using Instagram, I'm sure you've been using it, then you know that you also can attach link if you have 200 followers, 500 or whatever. So basically, we can actually measure it quite well already.
Okay, so the idea is that the person posts some kind of a discount code or referral link?
Actually, it depends, because like our clients, they want to, for example, have just brand awareness, so you don't need any link, you know. For example, like I said, there's Western Road, and when we talked about this with them, they were like super excited, because actually like big influencers, it doesn't work for them, because people somehow tend to, or like many people already tend to not believe what big influencers are sharing. So they want to use these regular people, but it's hard for them to use them. So there can be one case that, for example, there's just a new cheese season with McDonald's, so the brief is just upload a picture with the new burger in our restaurant, make some nice comment about it, and just post the print screen out of it on Promobase. So there's no need to be any link, and this is just the brand awareness. But when you want to really measure the outcome and you want to have customer-oriented campaigns, then of course you want to measure it, and then this is the case with the link.
And how much do they get paid, these micro-influencers? Because there's quite a lot of them, you need to source them.
This is actually a really funny thing, and I will tell you what happened when we tried to test it in some really not good version without an application, but we tried to test it with Nestle, and that was funny, because there were like really small people, like I'm like 500 or 600 followers, whatever, and they wanted to give them so much money that we were like, no, that's not good, that we cannot test something like this with so big budgets, but they like were so that, yeah, we want to give them 40 euro for this post. So we were like, okay, we tested it with this, but without their knowledge, we tested also the alternative that we asked people to do it for 5 euro, and they wanted to do it for this. So like that's why we are taking at least 20% from the predefined budget, because actually this fee can be much higher. So this is like, you know, when there's something new, you just have to create this level where there is demand from users for this price, and also there is other thing, like you have 500 followers, you as well, and if you make this post about cheeseburger, and suddenly you have 100 likes and you have 30 likes, then we are building also an algorithm that will serve for two purposes. One is quality assurance, like approving the content, because at the beginning we need to do it manually. But after this will be done by this algorithm. Sorry. And the other thing that this algorithm will do is that when you are weak, we try to find out why. So this algorithm is studying not how you behave, but how your community is behaving. For example, you are driving cars and they love your pictures from cars, so this just algorithm says us that just make pictures with cars. So we just write you that, hey, Adam, just if you make this cheeseburger in the car, you will have much more engagement that will result in some advantages for you, and first of all, like more money earned.
Thank you. Other questions from the online studio? Zsolt?
My question would be about uniqueness and the capital that you raised for the development. So how much capital did you raise for the development, and also the uniqueness of your platform?
I couldn't hear you very well, but I suggest that you ask how much we are raising and uniqueness of the platform, right?
Yes, and raised, so in past tense.
Okay, so we are raising in this round 500K that will have runway for us for the year 2022, and that will get us also to German-speaking countries. And like right now we are about to finalize our MVP that will need to have a lot of additional functionalities, and there will be a lot of money spent on development, but also some marketing purposes and also like sales, because once you get some client to try the platform, then you need to convert them for like a regular one. So we need to have these key account managers for at the beginning for Slovakia and Czech, and then we want to expand to German countries because we have really big support from YouTube partners that were also like blown away with the idea, and that they want to help us in any way that they are able to. So that's why we want to go to Germany, and after this, at the end of the next year, we plan to have another funding round that will get us to America, because that's where we want to go. That's the biggest market, and we see the trend is shifting towards these users, so we need to be really fast. And so this was regarding to funding, and regarding to uniqueness. I tried to once answer this, but I will try to summarize this. So basically we focus on small regular users instead of big influencers. That's one thing, but we are not forgetting for big ones. And actually with this step, we are taking the power from these big influencers, and we are gaining this power, because it's hard to cooperate with big influencers. You have problems. They are like each star, I would say, that they have their manners and like the way how they want to communicate, where they want to communicate, times. And that's kind of crazy sometimes. But when you get this power by the crowd on our solution, then also these big influencers, they will have to accept it and act according to our rules. So this is it. And I'm sure there are also other things like support of the biggest influencers in Slovakia and Czech Republic, but those, I would say, are just classic things.
Lucia, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have only one question. How do you make money? Or can you please shortly introduce your business model?
Sure. So, like I said, Promobay was working like an agency for big influencers. That's where we gathered some money so we could create this solution. By the end of the year, it's gonna be ready. And then how we make money, it's pretty simple. Like this McDonald's, they create the campaign. Let's say they have 10,000 to try it out, so their budget is 10,000. They just see, okay, our estimations are this audience and so on, and we take a cut from this predefined budget, which is not less than 20%. But it can be much higher depending on actually more factors, because at the beginning we try to have as many love brands as possible. So people love to just share pictures with them, and it actually will depend what kind of brand is it, what people have to do, and also how people, these users, are behaving. So it can be, I don't like to say really big numbers, but it can be really also up to 50%, which is really insane.
Do we have any questions left? Slavo?
I can ask a few more. So how do you defend this if you go to Germany? What is the unique thing that the others cannot do? Because as far as I understood at the moment, you need big companies at one hand who are running campaigns. You need a bunch of small influencers who are not so difficult to find. What is the factor that is going to defend the business?
Yeah, like some barriers for others to enter the market, you mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, the thing is that there are agencies that can enter this quite fast, and that's why we need to act even faster. And on our side, we are having these quite big partners, influencers, and our co-founder, Gogo, is the best person in acquiring those big guys, having relationship with them. But we need to go really fast from the moment when we launch. So yeah, there is not that huge technical barrier for others to enter this.
And have you already done repeated campaigns? Because I'm very much interested in, if I invest 50,000 euros once, what do I get back? And if I ever come back as a big company?
Not sure I completely understand, but let me summarize.
I can try explain it again. So
are some unique big influencers, I would say. So there will be comparison in this.
But this is something you don't have right now?
It's not ready yet, no.
Okay.
Perfect. Rene, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And let's continue with another startup called eRobot, and it will be presented by Lucia. Here you are.
Hello, as you heard, my name is Lucia. I'm from eRobot, and we teach robots to protect themselves. And the key factor for that is proper lubrication. Our solution is based on interconnection of robot gearboxes, artificial intelligence for central lubrication management, and oil cleaning that is based on pressure and temperature regulation. What we provide is totally disruptive innovation that is called an automatic self-maintenance control system. This is the best prevention against oil leakage and robot breakdown. So our value proposition is clear. We save money, increase productivity, and go green. We want to achieve more than 5% share of the robotic market by 2025. Our sales model, we have planned for B2B sales model that is based on rental and licensing revenues from integration system into robot construction by robot manufacturers. And we want to sell our product since 2023.
Thank you. And let's start the question round with Zsolt, for example.
Yes. So my first question would be that who is exactly your targeted customer? So is it the manufacturer or the big factories? Can you please elaborate on that?
It is mainly from automotive industry. So for example, it's Škoda from Prague and Volkswagen that is in Bratislava. And also we have another customer that is Kuka. It's in Germany.
Question would be more about the type of the customers. So would you target the factories who are making cars, or those companies who are making the e-robots that you plan to prevent from failures?
I think that all types of factories are possible customers. We will see in near future.
Thank you. Let's continue with Jaroslav.
Yeah, so I would like to ask, what is the current stage of the startup? You know, how many customers do you have, and where is it heading to?
So we have 3 customers, and we are waiting for their feedback. So it's in the form of testing or something. So they are testing our solution and product in their factories.
Do we have any follow-up questions, Jaroslav? If not...
Wasn't it enough?
I'm still trying to, understand better, why customers need it actually. What is the unique selling proposition basically, and could you elaborate on that a little bit, please?
So why they want us, for example, yeah? Because I think that we are more green than others. So our competitors only monitor robot failures by vibro diagnostic and motion control, but they cannot prevent robot breakdown. And our solution directly identifies the root cause of robot failure and prevents robot breakdown in early stage. So it's more than only no robot failures.
Was it sufficient for you?
It's some sort of predictive maintenance.
Yeah.
So,
We know to predict what will happen according to some parameters.
okay, and how does it look in reality? Is it some kind of hardware or?
Yeah, it consists of two segments. It's software and hardware, and software analyzes all major lubrication parameters, and hardware starts to run our self-healing system. Are you confused from me?
Thank you. It's clear now.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
I'm going to ask some more technical questions. So let's imagine a typical KUKA kind of robot that you have on the automotive car line. So what is the problem? That when the arms are bending, there is some friction happening, and what you are analyzing the lubrication status?
Yeah.
Of the thing, okay, and then what you with your hardware device do? You replace the lubricant, or what's the?
So you have one small phone that is full of software skills, and there is a, like set temperature, pressure, lubrication, and it is shown on the screen of this phone, and according to that, you know to set how it will. Continue with this process, and according to these software abilities of this phone, we can eliminate or predict and correct future mistakes.
Okay, and how does it compare to predictive maintenance based on sound, like neuron soundware? Because you are analyzing the lubricant, the pressure, temperature, and so on, and probably cleanliness. But can you achieve the same with sound?
I'm not sure if it is possible with sound, but only sound that with which I am connected is only vibrations can determine some problems.
That's the reason why I'm asking, because I know that these predictive maintenance startups who are analyzing devices based on sound are being already tested. So that's my question. How is it better? Because the reason why I'm asking is that because if you have to install a hardware device, which is somehow connected to the thing, it's a little bit more complicated in the onboarding process than having a microphone.
I'm hesitating about that.
Okay.
But I know want to explain. But no, I don't know what is better to say.
So you can walk me a little bit through the onboarding process. So you start speaking to Škoda, and how does it work? How do you install the software? How long does it take? Do they have to turn off their production line?
We ran them several products, and so far we are waiting for their feedback. So it is only in the process.
And who is doing the installation of the device?
Who is? My colleagues there.
Okay, so the company is installing it. Okay.
Thanks. Lucia?
Sorry, I have two questions. The first one is about the competition, and the second one about the intellectual property. Are you somehow able to protect the IP, meaning like patents or something like this?
Our solution is already registered, and also we are in the process of waiting for patent or something. And the first one was, I'm sorry, first question?
Competition. Do you have any competition? Do you know who is like the main competitor to your company?
I'm not sure, but I don't think they are similar to us.
Okay, and maybe the next question is why there is like nobody who is dealing with this solution?
Why nobody is dealing with this solution?
Yeah.
You are so real. Because they haven't found out so far that it is better. They are not ecological enough to deal with this solution. To, for example, rent our filtration device and to try it with that. So this is the reason. I think that in several years they maybe will find out that it is more ecological, it decreases the burden on our environment, that is cheaper than several services in 1 year, for example. That's it.
May I have one question? What is the biggest benefit from the point of view, as you said, as it's greener, it's more environmental friendly? Why is it so?
No, because, for example, instead of running out the oil from each robot every month or half a year, it is more ecological to filtrate it as it is with our blood and kidneys.
Okay.
So this is my point of view.
Do we have any more questions from the online studio? Slavo, do you have some?
So what is the end game? Do you want to sell it to KUKA or to a producer of robots, or what's your plan here?
First of all, I want to be humble. We want to finish our development. So it is to go through minimization and to create several sizes of this device, because we have only prototype now. And also we want to go through testing, and then we will see. Expectations are so big and we dream big, but reality is different.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lucia.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Another startup which will introduce themselves is called Sangert. Can you hear us? Can you see us?
Yes, I can see you.
So the stage is yours.
Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. So, hi, my name is Kasia. I'm the founder of the Sunflower Plant Power startup, and we produce Sangurts. Most of the popular plant-based yogurts alternatives based on soy and coconut were not satisfactory for me and other people. That's why I created Sangurt. Our product is enriched with sunflower protein, is a source of calcium, contains yogurt bacteria, is good for allergy sufferers, has no bean or sweet flavor, is made from locally grown sunflower seeds and packed in a glass jar. About 400 people tried Sangurt, and what is more, in June this year, the first Sangurts appeared in a few stores in Poland, and they received very positive feedback from the customers. What is interesting, currently only one company from Minnesota, Son of Doom, produces sunflower seed-based yogurts, so our Sangurt is second in the world. What is promising, it is estimated that by 2027, the global vegan yogurt market will reach above $6 billion. When I went vegan 4 years ago, people were saying that it would change nothing, but that's not true. I think together we can change everything. And our mission is to make the world a better place. And we believe that plant-based products have a huge potential. That's all.
Thanks, Kasia. And let's start a round of questions with Lucia.
Yes. So, how have you already, or maybe another way, how have you identified that there is a gap in the market, or what you were actually missing in the market?
Can you repeat?
Yeah, that how have you identified that in the market is missing the product like your product?
Like my product, okay. I am one of the people that is in the group on Facebook, for example, for vegan and vegetarians. And I have noticed that people have the same problem as me. So coconut and soy yogurts were not satisfactory for them. And for me as well.
They are not satisfactory. Maybe you can more elaborate on the quality of the product, or what is the problem actually?
Yes, the problem is the main problem is with the flavor, because soy yogurts has this bean flavor and coconut yogurts have coconut flavor, and my yogurts are more neutral, and they are enriched in sunflower protein as well. As I mentioned, Sangurt is a source of calcium as well. It's produced from locally grown sunflower seeds and packed in a glass jar. So most of the competitors don't meet these requirements at all.
Okay, I could see that Jaroslav was the second in the row. So Jaroslav, here you are.
Yes, I'm the second. Yeah, thanks a lot. I think it looks great. I'm a vegetarian myself, so I can definitely imagine myself being a customer. I think even though the product looks pretty good, I think it's all about distribution, right? Getting it to the customers at the right price and at the right time. So what have you done? What have you done in terms of distribution and sales channels? How do you plan to sell it to potential customers?
Okay, obviously we want to focus on, in the first year, we want to sell in organic, local and food health stores. Obviously, for example, in the Carrefour in Poland, this is the bigger retail chain. In the second year, we want to appear temporarily, for example, in bigger retail chains like Lidl, Auchan, and obviously in online stores. And in the third year, we want to be available constantly in this big retail chains.
Do we have follow-up questions, Jaroslav?
So how many pieces do you want to sell in the first year, for example?
Okay, in the first year it will be about 5,000 jars per month. In the second year it will be a lot more, because it will be about 100,000 packagings or jars per month.
Okay, one last question. How many products have you sold so far?
Unfortunately, I made Sangurts on my own at home, so it was very hard work. But we have sold about 100 jars during during 3 months, sorry. Because I wasn't able to do more, unfortunately. But the feedback was very positive, and the clients returned for Sangurts.
Thank you. Slavo?
So I also have a few questions. Thank you for the presentation. So people buy this type of yogurt just because of a taste preference, not because of a health reason?
Of course, obviously, health reasons has a lot to the choice of people.
Okay, but I mean, can I buy a soya-based yogurt or coconut-based yogurt if I have that medical condition, or is there a special medical condition which allows me only to buy this type of yogurts?
Yes, for example, if you are allergic to soy or coconut, my yogurt will be a better choice for you.
Okay, and are there enough people who have these types of allergies? I'm just trying to understand the size of the market a little bit more, but from the point of view of a specific group, which for whom this is suitable.
Yes, it's for example for people that are allergic to lactose as well, and protein milk and nuts. Obviously, this product is good for everyone, just for everyone, for traditional diet followers, for less and zero waste supporters, because Sangurt is packed in a glass jar. It is also good for obviously allergy sufferers and flexitarians.
Okay, so me being a vegetarian as well, it's totally an option for me. So that's good.
Yes.
But you said that you want to move into retail, so all the big chains.
Yes.
Is that a good? Is it a good strategy, or does it make more sense to make it a direct-to-consumer brand?
I think it is a good strategy because most of people go shopping to the huge retail chains.
And how is the team looking? Do you have someone who already has connections to these big retail chains, or this is something that you still have to build?
It is something that we will be building during the next years.
Mm-hmm. And last thing about the production process, do you currently produce it on your own, and do you plan to continue producing it on your own, or you want to outsource it somewhere?
No. I don't plan to making this on my own, but we want to rent a small production line in Poland in the first year.
Thank you.
Zsolt?
Yes, my question would be about profits. So how much profit do you have on one jar, and how is it going to change if you outsource the process?
Can you repeat again? What is the price of one jar?
Yeah, the price and also the profit. So how much money are you making on one jar?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the price in Poland will be 5 to 6 zloty. In conversion, it's to 1.6 euro. And we will get profit about 25% from this price.
Is it going to decrease significantly if you're going to outsource the making of this yogurt?
When I plan to rent a small production line?
No, so this is the profit that you are making when you are making the yogurt yourself, and I'm interested in that. How is it going to change if you are going to outsource the making of the yogurt?
It won't change.
So is it the profit going to be bigger if you outsource the?
Yes, it will be bigger when we will scale up.
Did it answer your question?
Yes, but I'm interested about the one jar profit. So it should decrease in my view.
Yes, but it depends on prices, ingredients, and jars. So it will change. For example, in a year or in 2 years.
Okay. One more question, maybe. Do you plan to introduce any further product lines? So any other milk-based products or something like that?
Yes. We want to focus on dairy products, plant-based dairy products. For example, cottage cheese and different kind of plant-based yogurts based on different ingredients.
Thank you. Maybe one last question. No one. Thank you very much, Kasia.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And let's continue with the last startup, which is called Calm IT.
Hello, my name is Damian. With Calm IT, we help cities to make better decisions and save them a lot of money with our brand new AI-based software solution that changes the way the traffic is analyzed. Using our own AI models, we are processing video footage from cameras and combining it with data from other IoT sensors, providing recommendations for future urban planning. Calm IT is a customer-driven innovation, which is backed up by already generating revenue at 70,000 euros by our 3 paying customers, who have already also experienced real-world benefits like better road maintenance or improved bus lanes. We are marketing Calm as a software as a service to make it even more convenient for our customers. And our ambition for the future is to be present in every major city in Europe within 3 to 5 years. So our top priority right now is to secure funding to help us grow our team to achieve that.
Thank you. And let's start with Slavo, the first question.
So I understand that you take images from camera and it comes into your software and you analyze it there. So where does the processing happen? How do you have enough bandwidth that you get all the data into one place?
Yeah, this is a very great question. Thank you. Well, we actually used edge computing, so the whole processing is at the end of the monitoring side, and we only sell some, secure wireless connection, only the data that we are storing in the database, and then doing some more processing.
Okay, and so it means that you're only adding a device to the camera or whatever.
Yes, we can basically use it on any camera. There are some specific, maybe some conditions that should be met, but there are also some specific cameras. But our magic or our AI and our uniqueness in that we can add some device to the existing camera and do the processing on the device at the side of the camera.
And no one else is doing edge computing in this way?
Well, yeah, there are some competitors on the market, and we are focusing on traffic and also addition some traffic-related health issues, also with addition to the air quality monitoring. But the usual solution is to just monitor the traffic or count the cars and maybe some parking lots management. So we are looking at this more from the perspective of the urban planning and make the city more livable for residents.
And is it an out-of-a-box solution, or do you have to customize it in some way for each city or district or customer?
Well, we are continuously adding the pictures to our AI model, so we are continuously training it and improving it. So this is also the way how we are able to identify the vehicles even in some harsh conditions, snowing, fog, night, and different lighting conditions.
Okay.
Thanks. Who's gonna be the next one to ask questions? Lucia?
Yes, sorry. Okay, so you have mentioned that you have already 3 customers. Yeah.
Yes.
So the first question is about who is your perfect customer, and the second one is, can you tell us the story about how a customer or why the customer has decided to choose you and your solution, and what is the feedback maybe you already have received?
So, we developed the solution based on a request from our current customer from our previous business, as this is a spin-off from our 10-year CCTV security company. So they were already looking for some complex study of the traffic in their local area, and they weren't aware about any solutions that were either too much complicated or too rudimentary, like counting cars manually at the roads, which is actually a big problem in the urban planning. I don't know if you are aware, but actually Bratislava is using the data from the year 2014. So this is a really old data. So our client at this moment, our go-to strategy is to target medium-sized municipalities via direct channels with a freemium offer for maybe some 1 week with no strings attached, just to let them taste what they can benefit or what are the data at their area or their some particular crossroads or anything. And we would like to then transfer it as a service, so they don't need to care about anything, and they just receive. Also, the other uniqueness of our solution is that we want to provide them analytical reports on a regular basis, automatically, not send some papers to any other experts or anything, so they will have the knowledge at site. I don't know if that answered your question.
Okay, thanks. Then Zsolt was the next one to ask.
Next question is will be about how long is your sales cycle, or how difficult to sell your product to the governments, municipalities? Because in my experience, it could be really difficult and really long process to sell this type of product.
Yeah, how long it takes from the first contact until the actual sale? Well, our first customer, it was maybe also including the development, it was maybe 3 to 6 months. The other customer, it was maybe some coincidence, but in the business it's also about being at the right time and the right place. So that was like instant. It was maybe 1 month only to process the procurement. And the other customer, we were actually approached by what can be considered our competition. It was the company that specialized only in measuring of the noise, but they wanted a complex analytics, also knowledge about the vehicle composition of the traffic flow. So that was the third client. And usually we are calculating that since from the first contact it may be a half or 1 year until the actual contract is signed. But it varies from the municipality to municipality. I would consider that also there are some areas or some villages, even here in Bratislava, that are developing very quickly. And if there is a pressing issue for them, that it may be more like intrigued to implement it earlier.
Do you plan to expand to other countries in the CEE region or in Europe?
If you can please repeat that, because I couldn't hear.
Yeah, so do you plan to introduce your product to any other countries in the CEE region, Europe?
Yeah, of course. As I mentioned, this is a spin-off of our current business, so we have actually very good partners, which we are already discussing it in Poland, Hungary, and Czech Republic, and we plan for them to also reach their clients from their business and to expand our network this way. But this is at the moment, but we will also very much be happy to include other markets.
Let's pass the word to Jaroslav.
Yes, so I would like to ask about competition. Who are the closest competitors, and what are the alternative solutions?
Yeah, we identified basically 3 types of competitors. One are some telco carriers who, from our experience, usually resell some other partial solutions. As I mentioned earlier, may only focus maybe on the air pollution or the traffic. Then there are hardware manufacturers who, some of them have also some also basic software only to display data. And there are just specified companies that specialize only on measuring of just one component with the really expensive equipment, and it's only in one place, one time, so you cannot actually have any results or long-term data.
Any additional questions?
No, thank you.
I have a question. How much money are you trying to raise, and what would you use it for?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, we are looking for from 400,000 until 500,000, and from our calculation, this should help us to cross next 12 months, and we plan to expand our team with some developers and also some dedicated salesperson on top of our capacities. We are actually currently 3 people, so we are very streamlined. So this will be a very great help to us.
Thank you. Maybe one last question from the jury.
You're processing video images. Are there any GDPR risks associated with this?
Yeah, that's also a very great question, and we take the GDPR very seriously, also considering that the CCTV business is full of this. And we are also happy to have a colleague of mine who is a lawyer, and so we take care this into account. And given we use the edge computing, there is no sensitive data transferred. But if some situation allows us that is maybe really close to our data center, and we are transferring the video, we don't store any personal data, we don't have any faces, and even if we use the license plate recognition, we use scrambled data, so we don't work with actual sensitive data.
Mm-hmm. And if you said that you want to use the direct sales model, is this the best model to use? Aren't there any hidden risks in terms of public tenders and so on?
Well, in our experience, it is there is a really strong word of mouth in this customer segment because these are very specific people. It's not like I don't know 100 million customers for us. So given our feedback from our customers, which we talk regularly, we heard that there are some others who are coming to see what they have, and they expressed interest in like having something like that also in their municipality. So we believe, at starters, this is our best approach because we think this is more convincing that the testimonial of the existing successful and satisfied client is the most persuasive.
And how do you mitigate the risk of some vendor lock-in? Because if you are a public municipality and you sign up for a SaaS type of business, aren't there any restrictions associated to that?
Well, it depends because we don't sell any licenses. We just let them use the software, so they don't own the code, or if this is what you mean.
But do they pay for the box, or you give the box for free?
Our ideal solution is that we will give them the box and take care of about the maintenance and everything, and they will just use the data.
But is then 400,000 enough if you have to give the box for free? Because it's going to take some time until it pays back.
Well, our pricing is set up at depends on what type of the sensors there are, because there may be some basic package and also some package with the camera maybe, and the pricing is starting from 190 euros per month until almost 500 per month per camera, which is like from our research some standard price for such solutions. So it's actually not that long until it makes profit.
Okay, so the box pays back in 2 months.
2 to 3 months.
Okay,
amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much for all the startups who had the courage to stand here and answer a lot of challenging questions. Thank you, the jury, the judges, for your time and valuable advice or questions. And I'd like to ask a round of applause for all the startups and the judges who decided to join us today. And as you can see, this year's FutureNow Bootcamp is coming to an end. Our startups will go through the one-to-one mentoring sessions tomorrow with expert mentors from various fields in order to help them prepare for the next week's finals, which will take place on Thursday, 18th of November, when you can see the Hybrid Startup Awards night, intense online stream full of keynotes, panel discussions, startup pitches, and even the President of Slovak Republic, Zuzana Čaputová, will be speaking there, so you have a lot of looking forward to. Eventually, we will get to know the names of 3 winners, one per each category, one from the jury, one from the public voting, and one from the Hub. So I'm really curious about who will be these names, these startups, and I wish you all of you luck to succeed, hopefully. And once again, I'd like to thank to our long-lasting partners who dedicate their time and support to next wave of entrepreneurs. Amongst those, a special mention goes to Venture to Future Fund, Slovak Business Agency, Slovak Innovation and Energy Agency, Vision Ventures, Sheen and Majduch, Taylor Wessing, Microsoft, Tatra Banka, O2, Cube, Sparring, and so many more. That's all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention and have a nice evening. Bye.